the powers that be there knew I was a comic book geek.
Oh,
and
cute.
Marvel had just launched. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
the Marvel that it is today. It was a new iteration of it, and Iron Man was the first project. And I got in there and really loved it and talked to the executives and, helped with some of my former colleagues and current agents there, getting Robert Downey Jr. in the room. And so, yeah, no, it was great to see, that happen. And it's those movies it's been great to see what Marvel became, because I think people forget that Iron Man was the new version of Marvel. It was not only the Spider-Man X-Men version. It was a completely different studio, and God bless. They figured it out and did an amazing job with all these movies.
Louisa Live. Welcome back, guys, to Louisa Live. I'm your host, Louisa Sharamatian, and I am so honored to be here with someone very special. Ara Keshishian is a producer and founder of ZQ Entertainment, a development and production company behind a range of film and television projects. He began his career at CAA as a motion picture agent, where he worked with major talent, including Natalie Portman, Antonio Banderas, Kate Hudson, Kerry Washington, Liev Schreiber, and helped package and develop films such as Black Swan, Margin Call, Iron Man, Captain America, Marley Me, and so much more. As a producer, he worked on films including Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, Kidnap, Z for Zachariah, and Locked, starring Anthony Hopkins. He has also helped raise over $100 million in financing for films and is currently developing many upcoming film and television projects. Ara.
Thank you for having me. That was very kind, and congratulations on your podcast. This is great. I'm very proud of you and very happy for you.
Ara, first of all, I'm so happy you are here because you don't do a lot of interviews.
I try not to.
Yeah.
I don't, but for you, I made an exception.
and I love that, and I'm so happy that you're here so we could just learn more about your story, and you took the time to come here. So
of course.
I'm so grateful. What a journey that you're still going through, obviously, life, career, family, all of that. But, you started off in law and then went into the CAA world and then started your own company. But I want to kind of take it back. Who was Ara? Because you're from Fresno, correct?
I was born in Pasadena, and I moved to Fresno when I was 12 years old. Okay. So I have a lot of connection to the Central Valley.
Yeah.
I went to college there. So I had a split upbringing between Pasadena and Fresno. But I went to Fresno State, had a great experience there, and then I moved back down here. Now it seems like a long time ago, 1997, to go to law school, where I went to Loyola Law School. Okay. And that's kind of what brought me back to Los Angeles.
So when you came back, you just went right into law.
Yeah, I graduated and then went right into law school at Loyola.
Okay.
And then I got an internship at CAA after my first year of law school.
Oh.
So I got an internship there, and I worked in the mailroom doing all kinds of menial tasks.
From the bottom.
And they let me stay on and work part-time while I was going to law school. So it was a great 3 years of, working at CAA as well as going to law school. And then I got my law degree, graduated, took the bar, became an attorney, did some pro bono legal work. And then I joined the CAA mailroom, which is basically like doing pro bono work. So, but that was in 2000.
So how was CAA back in the day during those years?
It was a different world for sure.
Yeah.
The mailroom was a great experience.
What did you do?
I mean, we did everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about delivering mail. I mean, you were a delivery service as well. You'd drive your car, you'd go to people's homes, you'd go to studios. It was a really exciting time. I mean, you'd be in a suit, carrying a mail bin, walking around Universal and going to different production companies. I mean, it was kind of before like the messenger services.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work, but you met so many people. I mean, I have bonds with people that I was in the mailroom with to this day. So, I mean, that part of it is fantastic. And so that was a great experience, being in the mailroom. It was hard,
Yeah.
but it was great.
And you learned so much that you applied into your law career, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, especially as I became an agent and got into negotiation. I mean, even to this day, a lot of the deals that I do, I will be very hands-on. I don't just hand it off to attorneys. I'll do it. I'll do a lot of the negotiation myself. It's easier.
Yeah.
Saves me some money.
And
Saves me the legal fees.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
combine the both. Like why not?
Yeah, no, definitely it's an education that was a great education, and you can apply it to day-to-day life. I mean, I always say it, the legal background, the law degree, for anyone who's thinking about going to law school, it's such a versatile degree. I mean, you will apply it to day-to-day life.
Back in the day, it was like, oh, if you go to law school, that's it. You're just going to be a lawyer from 8 to 5. But now you're right.
Yeah,
you can apply to anything.
Absolutely. It's a really, really great education. I would recommend it if people are interested in it. You don't have to go and be a 10 to 8 p.m. corporate lawyer working, at a big firm. You have a lot of flexibility on what you can do.
Take notes, guys, whoever's listening.
Exactly,
like that's
exactly.
So many people message me too, and I'm sure you too, like, should we go to law school? Could we still pursue film? But now we're seeing a lot of people are, joining both professions.
Yeah, it just depends. Everyone's journey is different. I would never say, oh, you have to go to law school. If you graduate college and you have an opportunity to work in film, great, do it. But law school is also an option for sure.
So you were at CAA, you were doing the pro bono work, right? And all
well,
of that.
I mean, I joined CAA as a mailroom. I was a trainee, and then you get promoted out of the mailroom. So, you work for agents as their assistant. Yeah. And then you become an agent.
So tell me that process. Did you have to leave law to pursue being an agent? How was that?
I mean, I didn't do any law. Once I joined the CAA trainee program full time, that was it. And there was no, legal career at that point. It was 100% join the mailroom, don't make any money.
Yeah.
You make some money, not a lot of money. My friends were making far more money being junior lawyers at these firms, but it's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in the creative side of it. And, listen, being an agent, being on that side of it, you combine both, and it's still a version of what I do. I've never just wanted to only be creative. I like combining, the financing with the creative and doing both. So
at that time, was it difficult working with up and coming artists? Because I know you represented Natalie Portman and all of those great talents back in the day.
When you become an agent, you become a young agent, you get put on teams, and you kind of work your way up. Yeah. And, I had the good fortune of working with a lot of great and talented people, whether it was Natalie or Antonio or even, young, I represented a young actor named Jay Baruchel, who's obviously gone on to do great things. But I had a really good cross-section of clients. And it was just, I kind of chose the clients that I really believed in and that I loved. And it was, a good experience, great relationships. Some of them I still talk to here and there, some of them I may still work with. Yeah. But it's been, that part of the journey was a great
And when you see clients like that, for example, Antonio or Natalie just blossom more than ever, it feels amazing, right? Like, come on, it does.
Absolutely. Of course. I mean, look,
you
know what?
Part of that. Black Swan?
Yeah, I mean,
Black Swan.
Black Swan was a movie that it wasn't just me, trust me. It seems great and easy now that it made so much money, but it was a lot of work from a lot of people. Rogue Sutherland on the film finance side, worked tirelessly to put the financing of that movie together, and Natalie was training hours and hours. And we were not sure, candidly, if the financing was ever going to come together. But it was really, Will there, my cousin Aline, who represented her at the time, was also instrumental.
Ara Keshishian,
and Kevin Huvain, who represented Natalie with me. I wish I could sit here and say to you, we knew it was going to make 300 million worldwide. No, we didn't. It hit the zeitgeist at the right time, and it just became a phenomenon. So yes, that was a very satisfying moment as an agent when, you have a client win a Golden Globe and an Academy Award, and the film does really well. So,
you're so humble.
But different world today.
I love that you're here because we can talk about everything.
Oh, yes,
you're so humble, and I love that about you. Like, everyone who reaches out says Ara is the producer in the industry.
I don't know about that. That's very sweet. There's a lot of great producers.
Yes, but still,
I tried, but thank you for saying that.
Speaking of financing for films, what does it take to really finance a film like that? What do you do? Like, what's your first step for anyone listening wants to finance a film or go in that direction of producing?
Well, I mean, financing a film can be done in a lot of different ways. Some movies, look, if what I do now with my company, and, in a perfect world, you put a package together, the director, the actors, and then you go out to the market. And listen, if you get lucky, a studio may come in and give you a worldwide deal. That's always nice. There is the other scenario, which you can go and finance a movie with foreign pre-sales and debt and tax credits, and then you bring in equity and you kind of put a puzzle together. And that's a lot of work as well, and I've done it in both ways. I mean, the easiest way is if you have one person just writing the check, but that's hard to do, sometimes that just doesn't exist. So there's definitely different ways of doing it. Listen, it's getting harder and harder to make movies independently. There's no question about it. But there's still opportunities, but financing is challenging. But it can be done. Yeah. It's being done every day. Yeah. And it's just about having great material, and you have to be tenacious. Yeah. And you're going to get a lot of no's. But that's okay. I mean, that's the business. You're going to get a lot of no's from financiers. You're going to get a lot of no's from the directors that you want to try to get on your projects, from the actors. But you have to hang in there and believe in the project. That's the most important thing.
And know that this industry is not a straight path.
No.
So much ups and downs.
Ups and downs. It's such a cliched line when they say, it's about the journey and not the destination. And it really is. And you have to enjoy it and have a passion for it. I mean, that's the advice I would give anyone that's young is you got to love this business. Yeah. You got to have a passion, whether it's film or television. You got to love it.
So you were representing clients and all of that, and then you eventually started your own production company, ZQ.
Well, yeah.
So tell me about that journey.
Yeah, the journey was, I wound up working as the head of production for some finance companies and foreign sales companies, and then there was that entrepreneurial spirit in me that wanted to do something different. And when COVID happened, it was a little bit eye-opening where you sit there and you go, okay, you want to kind of control your own destiny. And I had the good fortune of meeting some great partners who believed in me and backed me. And, you take that leap of faith, right? I had worked at, whether it was CA or other companies, I had never gone off on my own. But
that's scary.
It's always going to be scary, but it was the right time and the right decision, and it's been great, and I obviously have, great relationships still, and people have been super supportive.
And tell us what you do for someone who wants to make a film or send you a script. You do everything from like A to Z?
Yeah, I mean, my company mainly focuses on development. And I have the good fortune of having development financing. Yeah. So we are able to option books, pay for writers. The movie Lock that you referenced, that was a film that we optioned the remake rights of an Argentinian film, and then we paid for a script, and then we were able to package the movie together, and that one we piecemealed the financing. We were able to make the movie during the strike because we were able to get a waiver. So there were a lot of things that was a lot of work, but that's what we do. So, and we've optioned graphic novels, we'll pay for a writer. We're lucky that we have the ability to do that.
I have so many questions, but I want to ask about Locked. I was there at the private screening.
Yes, you were, which feels like a long time ago.
Yes. Sonia, of course, your mother.
Yes.
Spirit animal.
We love Sonia. My mom is.
Sonia.
I love her.
She invited me. And, that movie blew me away. I was literally holding on to my seat. What was it like filming that film inside that car, by the way? Just walk me through that process. It was so intense.
Yeah, listen, it was a tough shoot. I mean, it was less than 5 weeks. And I mean, really, everyone was fantastic. The director, Dave Yarovesky, did an amazing job. Bill Skarsgård, who I became friends with, was amazing. Came every day, gave his heart and soul. It was really hard for him because he was literally acting by himself for a large portion of the movie, until, Sir Anthony came, and then it was changed the dynamic. But Bill was fantastic. Obviously, Anthony Hopkins was amazing, but it was a challenging shoot. There was no question about it. Shooting it, we had a window to hit. We had the strikes. We didn't want to lose the opportunity. We were able to get a waiver. It slowed a lot down, but it was it was challenging, but in the end, we're very proud of the movie. I think.
I loved it. I feel like whoever watched it left appreciating life more.
Yeah.
That's what I took.
Yeah.
Especially from the last scene. I don't want to give it away if anyone hasn't
please,
seen it yet.
If you haven't seen it, watch it. I think it's on Hulu. And
guys, such a great film.
I know a lot of people, like to watch some of these movies at home, and it's there now. So hopefully,
and you like working on films like that, like psychological thriller, like that's your thing.
I'd say this: I got into business, especially on the producing side, to make all genres. I like working in the genre space, horror, thriller, action. But look, our slate is very diverse, and I'm very proud of that. We have dramas, we have period movies, which we know it's the kiss of death right now, but you also have to believe in it, and nothing is easy. And I just believe in making, good movies, trying to go with your instincts and your gut, and you read a book and you love it, and it's going to be hard, but you're like, you know what though, if this movie gets made, it's going to be good to be out there. So
you probably get sent so many books, right? Because you do books to film,
right.
adaptations. How do you know that book has it? Because some books, we all know, it can't be, made into great movies. What sticks out to you?
I think it's just the story. Can you see it become cinematic? And that's the most important thing. And it has to speak to you. Are the characters interesting? Do you see a writer that can go and take this and make it a cinematic experience? That's really what I look for. There's a lot of your gut too, right? Even with a script, you got to I always say it's so tough right now, right? Because there's consolidation in our business. There's fewer distributors, and you can get caught up in, okay, but the market wants this, and you start thinking like a marketing executive, and you probably do have to do that, but you also have to rely a little bit of your gut. Look, what the market doesn't want now, if one movie in a genre that the market doesn't want now succeeds in a year, all of a sudden the market wants that.
Right.
And that's what you kind of have to look at. So, listen, are there genres that are going to be harder? Of course. I have to be much more selective if I'm going to dive in and spend money on a period drama than a really great horror script. But I also have to go by, what is my gut saying?
Yeah. Do you feel like Hollywood is lacking certain types of films right now, in your opinion?
Do I think it's lacking certain types of films? I think people will go to the movies if you give them a reason to. And I think that obviously the tent poles are there. I have heard that family movies, obviously they're still doing well, and there is a need for family movies, for sure. I think the adult audience is probably underserved.
Yeah.
I think that they still want to go to movies. I mean, there is a movie that came out this year called Nuremberg. I wasn't involved in it, but the movie did great. Now, when you look at the elements of that, period, World War II, all the things that people say, those are not necessarily what the market wants. That movie did really well. In fact, I have a World War II movie now, and people are calling about it. And I think that's really interesting. So I think you just have to go by, there's so many options, right?
There is.
A lot of people want to stay at home. A lot of people have all of these streamers. You just have to make movies that create a sense of urgency to go. And I do believe that if something is good and if it can tap into the right audience, people will go to the movies.
Louisa Live. Louisa Live.
And I feel like the birth of streaming services has really made that movie-going experience, not that it's not joyful anymore, but some people don't find it necessary, which is sad, right?
It's changed the dynamic.
It's so sad.
It is, of course, as people who grew up going to cinemas as a 16-year-old, going to movies on a Friday night was a big deal,
Yeah.
So the streamers have definitely changed the dynamic.
Yeah.
I think that it inevitably was going to. And we've created a mechanism of where the consumer looks at a trailer and says, do I go see that movie in the theater, or do I wait a month? Do I wait 2 months and then get to see it at home? When I was younger, if you didn't see a movie in the theater, you wouldn't get to see that movie until it came out on VHS 9 months down the road.
Yeah.
So the theatrical window being shorter has obviously hurt that dynamic. I think that I'm hopeful the studios and the streamers, they're going to work towards keeping that window a little bit longer. But look, just the reality is there's certain movies that are going to be better served watching at home.
At home.
And that's okay. And I do hope though that the theatrical experience comes back. And not just for the tentpole movies.
Yeah.
For original IP and original ideas. So, it's exciting when a movie like Weapons does really well. A movie like Sinners, which is produced by an Armenian with Sev, who we all love, and
our
that's great.
alumni.
Yes, and it's great. So when original IP works, that's great for the business, because we know that the next Fast and the Furious is going to do well. Yeah. We know that the next Star Wars is going to do well. But it's great when you have projects that are original start doing real business at the box office.
What was it about Sinners that just made all of us obsessed? It just grabbed us, right? Tell me from
It's so original. It's
so good.
Beautifully directed and wonderfully acted. They just did a great job all across the board. It was bold. And that's the type of movie when you look at it and say that's bold filmmaking. Yeah. And that's what we need. And that, by the way, you could look at that on paper and say, oh boy, period, it's tough, even though it's a genre. Yeah. It's like, you could talk yourself out of that at some point, but those guys did a great job. They believed in it. They got it made, and credit to Warner Brothers for believing in that. And the rest is history. So that's good for our business. You want those movies to succeed.
It was dark, but I kept watching it. For me, I'm like, oh my God. Absolutely. Like the blood and just everything. It was like, a film about your soul and all of that. But just, I couldn't turn it off. I'm like, but I like it. Even though it's not something Louisa would watch. But I'm like, wow.
But that's why it worked.
Yeah.
Bravo. People who don't watch those kinds of movies watched it and loved it.
Sucked you in. Yeah. The soundtrack.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing.
All of it's great.
And in your experience, what's the main difference? Like if someone's making a film for Netflix versus making one for the theater, is there a big difference for a streamer and like a theater film?
I mean, look, I try not to think that way because if Netflix passes, then what are you going to do, right?
Oh,
and there's been those experiences where people say, oh, you're going to just flip this movie to Netflix. Well, you can't go into a movie and think, well, Netflix is going to buy this, because if they don't, what are you going to do? So you have to cross the gamut. Are there scripts that I read and go, yeah, that would be a perfect streaming movie? Absolutely. And I made those movies. But I like to not think that's the only avenue, because then you get in real trouble. If you don't see the potential of something theatrical, then it becomes a little dicey.
And when you read scripts, are you mentally casting people? Are you one of those?
Yeah. Yes and no. It depends. But that's just the former agent in me. Yeah. Whenever I read something, I'm always like, God, what a great role for an actress, or what a great role,
for Louisa.
Yeah, of course. Why not? Why not? We'll get you in something. Why not? Right?
Give me a line, Ara. Come on.
That's easy.
Oh, so do you use a highlighter? Do you read or do you do Audible? Like,
no, I have to read. I can't do the Audible. It's like there's like talking scripts. Nothing against that app, but like I have to read it.
You have to have it.
I don't highlight. I read it on my iPad.
Wow, iPad.
I will say this: if I am in pre-production, I will at one point print a hard copy of the script and then really go through it.
Yeah.
Just because when you're about to shoot a movie in 4 weeks, I like having that. But no, I read. I have to read.
I love that.
I wish I had the ability. My partner can literally. Put on the pods and go and work out, and He can hear a script. I can't.
That's what I'm very audio based.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Speechify. I
Yeah.
could listen to 3 books
Maybe
in a
it's
day.
because I'm old. It's a generational thing,
no,
right?
I mean, like, no,
You're
not
younger
really.
and hipper, and I mean, I just have to go old school, I guess.
But I wish I had that attention span to
Yeah.
actually read
Oh, it's
something
harder,
that
you
it's
know.
so hard.
That's a problem that we all have.
Yeah.
We're so glued to our phone, and that's also a problem with, I think, going to the movies. People sometimes they like to stay at home and put on a movie on Netflix and have their phone and go
Scroll and
it's
like
just not the right way to watch a movie,
No.
unfortunately.
And you've watched so many incredible films in your life. Was there one that just stuck out to you when you said, "Okay, I actually want to make movies right now"?
Boy, I was very blessed that I had a mom who
Yeah.
introduced me to film at a
Yes.
young age. I mean, she has her master's in drama and was a teacher. So, she took me to
Actress, yeah, all of
Woody
that.
Allen Zelig in second grade. That
Who does
so,
that?
yeah, exactly. So
Sonia
I
and
grew up
George.
watching movies, I'd say like movies that inspired me, David Lynch's The Elephant Man. I think that's just an amazing film.
Ooh.
Beautifully shot, beautifully acted. I always loved the Godfather movies, especially the first two.
Mhm.
I always wanted to be part of the filmmaking experience at a young age.
Yeah, you already knew.
you
And your
know,
family, I
yeah,
mean, Sonia being an
yeah.
actress and all of that.
Yeah, I definitely loved it. I loved movies. I loved them. Going to the theater was a big deal.
Yeah.
And even in college, I don't think college kids do it as much as they should these days. but
No, now
for
it's
me,
Instagram. It's like,
yeah, I mean, for me, like a Friday night, new movie open. I was, in Fresno, California, going to the theater with friends.
Popcorn,
and
M&Ms,
yeah, it was a
bonbons.
night out,
I know.
and that experience can still be there,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope it can come back.
I love that in that room in a theater, we're all even. Like, we're all even people. Like, we're all the same. No one is richer or poor or like prettier or uglier. It just, we're on the same level.
It's a great communal
just
experience.
watching the screen and
Yeah.
our emotions are coming out and crying and it's just beautiful.
It is. And that's why horror does so well, because there is something about being in a dark theater with 300 strangers getting scared.
Yeah.
The horror genre works. Like people want to, there is a difference watching a horror movie at home and going to the theater and seeing it.
Uh-huh.
It just, there is. And that genre specifically, but it's, I think, going to those movies in the theater is it's a great experience.
Any favorite horror ones that just your top
As
two?
as a young
lot.
kid, The Exorcist scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a scary film.
Yeah.
So that's probably in
Too
my
scary.
mind.
Yeah.
And then The Silence of the Lambs. I mean, I keep referencing
Oh,
Anthony Hopkins movies. My
yes.
God, it's like the second one. But I mean,
Yeah.
that movie, when I saw that in the theater, I want to say I was probably like 15 years old. I was just like, oh my God. I mean, it was just 2 hours of edge of your seat. And so those are, I think, to me, the benchmarks.
What a full circle moment. You've watched that movie with Anthony Hopkins.
know.
And you ended up working with
So
him.
great. It's that bucket list item, right? And I had that good fortune.
And you've worked with such major Marvel franchise films too, like Iron Man,
Well,
right?
I was
like,
an agent.
You were an agent.
Yeah, I was an agent at
And-
CA,
and-
and there's a thing called covering projects when you're a young agent,
Mm-hmm.
and the powers that be there knew I was a comic book geek.
Oh,
And
cute.
Marvel had just launched. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
the Marvel that it is today. It was
Oh.
a new iteration of it. And Iron Man was the first project. And I
Uh-huh.
got in there and really loved it and talked to the executives and, helped with some of my former colleagues and current agents there, getting
Uh-huh.
Robert Downey Jr. in the room. And so, yeah, no, it was great to see, that happen. And it's those movies it's been great to see what Marvel became, because
Yeah.
I think people forget that Iron Man was the new version of Marvel.
Mhm.
It was not only the Spider-Man
Mhm.
X-Men version. It was a completely different studio, and God bless, they figured it out and did an amazing job with all these movies.
Well, yeah, but you also have the experience of indie films and studio films, right? What do you think the main difference is?
As far as developing them, look,
Yeah.
I develop projects that can be studio
Mhm.
movies. So I
Yeah.
think that, is there a difference? Yeah. I mean, there's certain movies that are on your slate that you look at and go, look,
Mhm.
this is more of a platform release, awards type of film. And then there's movies that have a real shot to be 3,000 screens, that type of movie. So it just depends. Everything is different, you know. I don't. The difference between indie and studio, you know, I don't really love to say that because I think we're all part of this
big
ecosystem.
yeah.
And this notion of, oh, you're an independent producer.
Yeah.
You are, but you're still beholden to a distribution apparatus. As an independent producer, if you don't have a distributor, your movie's not getting seen. So you just have to look at it that way. But I think it's just every project's different. Every project's unique. And you just have to look at the ways that they can be shown to the public.
And now because of the digital era and things being just a bit more easier, maybe easier is not the right word, but let's say there's more opportunity for young filmmakers to make movies now versus maybe 30 years ago, right? Because of the iPhone, like making movie phone, like
Absolutely.
You know how it is.
Man, there's a lot of opportunities, and AI is going to change that dynamic too.
Oh,
you know,
have you seen the changes already in your world with AI
listen,
and stuff?
have I seen it to a certain extent?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think it's going to be a value add for VFX companies. But look, it's something that's very concerning, obviously, for the actors and the writers, and it should be. But it is technology, and I think that the safeguards have to be in place. But you can't fight it; it's here.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like, speaking of indies and independent filmmakers, like we're both part of ARPA.
Well, yes,
right?
we are.
ARPA
Yes.
International Film Festival. That's how we met.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yes.
2025, longest running
film festival. And obviously Sonia, my mom, who's a jury liaison, and Sylvia and Maral have done such an amazing job with that festival. I mean, it'll be their 30-year anniversary in
next
2 years.
Right? Oh,
not this year, next year.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're just such a great voice for independent filmmakers. And we need people like this to continue to give a platform for these young directors, actors, musicians. So go and support this film festival. It's an amazing film festival, 29 years strong. And
they're kicking off their 3-day festival at the Chinese again, mid-September.
Yes,
so we'll share all that.
Yeah, absolutely. We will be there.
And you're a board member.
Yes. So I'm very, very excited for it. Yeah.
Sylvia was here a few weeks ago, and
she's like my
you.
adopted aunt. So Sylvia's known me since I was a baby. So
that's what she said.
For her. Yeah, she's the best.
So she said, from crib to cinema.
Yeah, exactly. I'm truly from crib, you know.
And what do you think their secret is? 30 years to last this long.
You know what it is? Again, I think it stems from passion.
Yeah.
You have to have the love of the arts. And I think my mom, obviously her background, you know, and Sylvia and Maral, they love it. And I think success is based on passion. And you have to have passion, whatever you do in life.
And I'm sure a lot of these films have been difficult to make, of course.
They're all difficult to make.
Like nothing is easy.
I mean, maybe not if you're making a $300 million studio movie, but even those I'm sure are difficult. The smaller the movie, the harder it is to make.
Budget-wise, too.
I've always believed that. The hardest movies for me have been the ones that have had the least amount of money. You know?
Wow.
So that's just the way it is, you know?
What do you want young filmmakers to take away, like, from this conversation? Anyone who's trying to make a film, starting out?
I think just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what other people say or do. You have to have tunnel vision, and you have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most important. In the end, the most successful people are the people who enjoy what they're doing. And there's a lot of easier jobs than being in the entertainment industry. Executive, agent, director, producer. There just is. But if you have the love for it, just and don't get discouraged. Content is king. That's also a line that everyone says. And be a creator. We always want stories. It doesn't matter. That's streaming, theatrical. If AI comes, we want stories. And tell bold stories.
And I feel like right now, Hollywood also needs original stuff too. And I sometimes think they go after the authors and all the great books, right? And that's why it's so incredible that your production company does that.
We're lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I have tons of books in my mind right now.
You know, we lose out sometimes to studios, but that's okay, you know.
But it's hard to option them, right? That's a whole thing.
It's challenging. You know, you have to sometimes meet with the author, and, you know, they have to believe in your vision and that you're going to take care of their baby. And it's it's exciting though when you get one, because you
Yeah.
work hard and tirelessly push it forward. And when a movie happens, especially independently,
Yeah.
there's a very gratifying feeling of being on set day one. There's just
Yeah.
when you look at everyone working, and it is very exciting.
And speaking of baby and family and all of that, you're a father.
I am.
Right? To Zabel.
Zabel, as the Armenians say.
Armenians say Zabel.
Yeah. 8 years old, and
Oh my God.
she's fantastic and light of our life. And
She is.
and the funny thing is, the company is actually named after her. ZQ is her full name, Zabel Quinn. So
Zabel
Zabel
Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. And she's a superstar too.
Well, we like to say that.
She loves the
yes.
phone.
Yeah,
She loves the story.
She does. She's a good student too, which is important.
Has your career or mindset about the industry been different since being a father?
I think, of course, it obviously changes certain priorities.
The stories you tell, maybe, and all of that.
I mean, listen, we're doing a family movie
Yeah.
with Studio Canal called The Last Bear, which is based on a big
Yeah.
book. And that's about a young girl and her relationship with a polar bear. And it's actually the first book that Zabel read, and it was something that I optioned.
Oh.
So, of course, it just changes your priorities. You can have a really bad day at work, but,
Yeah.
when you have a family and you have a daughter, son, and you come home
Yeah.
to them, it makes it a lot easier.
And incredible wife, Corinne.
I do. She puts up with me.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing.
And she is a very talented interior designer.
She is. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
And a very supportive wife.
Yeah.
Which is important. You need that. You have to have great support in any business.
Especially in this business, when you
Yeah.
come home after, let's say, 5 phone calls that maybe didn't, make you too happy. You have
Yeah.
someone you can vent to,
Of
because
course.
this industry, it's so stressful.
Yeah, and she's had to watch multiple cuts of my movies. When she was pregnant, she watched like 7 cuts of the Ted Bundy movie. She poor thing. She's like, I just don't want to watch this movie anymore. We went to the premiere at Sundance. She's like, I can't believe I have to watch this again. So she's put up with a lot over the years.
Oh my gosh. And if Zabel were to say, Dad, I want to pursue acting or be a filmmaker, would you want her? Like, would you?
Of course,
Yeah,
I want,
you would.
Again, I want her to follow her dreams.
Her dreams.
And as long as she loves it, do it for
Mhm.
the right reasons. It's got to be for the passion.
Yeah.
Don't do it for the glory. Don't do it to be on Instagram and get that celebrity. Don't do it for that. Do it because
Yeah.
you love the idea of being an actor or
Yeah.
a director. That's what I would say. You have to
Mhm.
love it.
And do it for your soul. Like,
Of
if there is
course.
something you really want made, just do it for yourself, not for, oh my God, congratulations. Because,
You have to do it for your soul.
Yeah.
It's like you can look at a movie and go, this movie's okay. I could see it being, one of these movies that just gets made and probably ends up, in the theater. But that's not the way I can make a movie, because
Yeah.
it's just too hard. You
Yeah.
have to be excited about it.
Yeah. And I feel like having the right support system, like you said, like a wife and daughter and your dad, George, and Sonia.
Yes,
like,
I have great parents,
Yeah.
great friends, and I have great network of friends in the business as well. I
Yeah.
have great friends at CAA who still, take care of me in the company, and
incredible.
and across the board at all the agencies and management companies. I'm lucky that I've had a good network. And look, it's a small community, and we all have to help each other. We have to root for everyone's success. That's the most important thing. I just don't get. There's some people who want to root for a movie not to work, and it's just like, no, we want all movies to work. That's the best thing that can happen for our business.
Yeah,
So,
and what you said, relationships. I think this town is built on those relationships.
That's all there is. That's all it is. Your relationships and your word. I try to be honest. I try to be transparent with everyone, investors,
Mhm.
actors, directors, and be honest and know that, if things are going tough, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You have to ride, as you said earlier, you ride the waves, ups and downs. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and you have to understand that it's also important to water those relationships, keep those relationships
course.
alive, because sometimes it's not about who you know, it's who knows you.
Yeah.
I've learned that too. Let's say you could be so great on set and someone wants to work with you, so they just call you because of the experience
Of
you've had with
course,
them.
yeah. You always have to be nice to people.
Yeah.
Kevin Huvane, who is a mentor of mine in the
Mhm,
business and
mm.
one of the owners of CA, he told me when I was a young intern, who you pass on the way up, you're going to pass on the way down, and make sure
Oh.
you're nice to everyone. So
Oh, I love
I
that.
always took that to heart.
Who you pass on the way up,
you're going to
going to
pass on the way down. So just be nice to everyone. You never know when you're going to need someone, when someone's going to need you. And it's easier to be that nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has a journey. Everyone has a struggle. This business is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hardest it's ever been. And, and I have to work on it. I'm not some saint.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost my cool with people, but you just have to try to remember everyone's got to struggle. We're all grinding it out.
Yeah. Have you learned to say no?
You have to say no.
Yeah. You have to say no.
Especially when it's your own company.
Yeah.
You really have to say no.
Is it hard?
Look, you have to say it in the right way, and
I've taken
shit out of my face. I've read scripts that I've passed on that have been hard. When you sit there and go, yeah, exactly. No, I like to try to say it better than that. It's hard,
I'm bad. Like, we're not making that into
the
a
hardest
movie.
ones are the ones that you are on the fence with, and you
Yeah.
have to go back and forth and think about it. But people say no to me all the time. You know
Yeah.
how many times I'm in the middle of trying to get a movie made where I know this actor is going to greenlight it, and they say, "Oh my God, he read this script, he likes it, he's thinking about it," and you're like excited and hoping it's going to happen, and then you get a pass a week
Mm-hmm.
later. So you go through a lot of emotions, So as someone who is a producer who's heard no, I
Mhm.
like to be conscientious about the way I say no.
Yeah. Just nicely.
Yeah, give it some
Respectfully.
time and
Yeah.
give it some diligence.
Yeah.
But you have to, unfortunately. There's just a
You've
lot of
worked
things
with
out there.
incredible directors, actors, actresses. Who was, I don't want to say favorite, so, typical.
Oh, I mean,
But anyone that just wow, what a project. Like, I'm so proud of it. Like, anything.
I like to say that I'm proud of every
Everything.
movie that I've worked on in some capacity. I mean, I have been very lucky. The first movie I did was this little movie called Maggie with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yes.
which was if anyone hasn't seen it, they should see it. It's
I
like
have
a
not
fresh,
seen it.
It's such a unique take on the zombie genre, and Arnold gives such an amazing performance. It's a dramatic performance, and in fact, it was nice because the movie came out, God, now I want to say, at least over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, and Variety rated his top 10 performances, and this is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was like
Wow.
number 3.
Incredible.
So, I'm very lucky to have worked with people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Anthony Hopkins and Michael Keaton, people who, as a kid, you grew up watching their movies, and to be able to, have that experience
Yeah.
as a producer, it's truly great. I mean, I've been fortunate to work with great people,
Yeah.
and I can't say I have a favorite. They've all been great in their own way.
Louisa Live. Louisa Live.
Well, the industry keeps evolving. So I'm sure you are working on so many projects right now. Is there any specific one you could share about or want to talk about? Or
I mean, there's a few. I mean, I
Yeah.
can share. I mean, we're, with Studio Canal, we're doing this movie, The Last Bear,
Oh,
which I
that's
mentioned
right,
to you,
yeah.
the family movie, which we're super excited about. We're talking to actors now to play the dad to
Mhm.
the young girl, and we're hoping that can go into production in the fall. And then
Mhm.
we shot a horror movie called 6 Till Midnight, which we're going to start
Ooh.
showing to distributors.
love that.
With Timur Begmedov producing. He
Mhm.
did the Searching Missing movies with Sev. So there's a little bit of a connection there.
I
Sev's
love
not
that.
producing this one, but he obviously knows the screen life genre very well. And then we have a period movie about Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, and Eleanor Roosevelt in the
Ooh.
White House during Christmas, right before the U.S. was going to get into World War II, which we're very excited about, with Joe Berlinger directing. Who,
Oh, absolutely. Another
did,
ARPA
you
family
know,
member.
Yes. And that one, we're putting that movie together. So, we have
That's
a
a
very
lot.
diverse slate. We have about 35 movies that we're working on right now. So hoping that, some of them will get into production in the next 6 months.
Is it like a babysitting process for you as far as a film being made from start to finish? Is it like, oh my God, you have to call this producer and all of that?
It is a lot.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is pre-production.
Pre-production.
Once you have the package and you have to tee up the financing, close all the financing documents,
That's a lot.
doing all of that, especially if you don't have one worldwide distributor. If you're doing a foreign sales equity route, it's a lot. It's stressful because you have to close the money, close the bond.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest part. Ideally, and I've had the good fortune, once the movie starts shooting, assuming you have a good line producer, good director, good AD, usually it's a machine that starts going. I've, knock on wood, haven't had anything that's been catastrophic. I know there are stories.
Yeah.
But yes, I like to man the ship as much as I can, and it is babysitting, but you have to, especially when it's something that you built from the ground up.
Do you think a movie is ever truly finished?
Is a movie truly ever finished? That's a great question. I would say probably not if you ask a director, but you have to finish it, or you'll be in editing and spending money till 4 years down the road.
Do you like watching your own movies, or are you one of those that just
No, I do. I love the editing process.
like
I think
it?
that's like very exciting, and how you can really shape a film and how the right editor or the wrong editor can really change the dynamic of a movie. That was very eye-opening to me as someone who left agenting and came into producing. The value of that editor. Like I had a movie that had a cut that just wasn't working, and we hired a new editor, and you sit down and you watch it and you're like, oh my God, it's like a completely different movie. And but I love that process. That to me is exciting, to work with a director and an editor and your fellow producers, get in that editing room and take a movie that's okay and make it really good, or that's good and make it great. But yes, at some point you hit that wall where you're like, this is the movie.
Yeah.
And you got to let it out in the world, and God willing, it's going to do well, and people are going to connect to it, and it's going to find its audience.
Do you feel like people sometimes do underestimate editors and the power
Absolutely.
that they do, right?
I think I'll say it, look, when you hire the filmmaker and when you hire the below the line, it's such an important position. They're all important, but the editor is so important. The director of photography is so important. And, those are the two positions I try to make sure we get the best of the best that's available.
How do you know who makes the cut as an editor? Do you look at their
credits,
previous films,
course,
or do you just give them something to do and you look at it?
No.
Like
Ideally,
that.
no. It's the credits. I mean, you look at the films that they've done. You listen. It's a relationship business, right? So you'll call a producer that they've worked with, and you collaborate with your filmmaker, have meetings, make sure that they're all on the same page. I mean, look, the most important connection is the director and the editor.
Yeah.
They have
the
to
relationship.
Connect. They do, and you'd also want an editor that'll push back. I mean, that's also very important. You do not want an editor that's just going to say yes to every idea. You want an editor to have a point of view.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want my editor and my director to have a level of tension. I think that's good and healthy.
I love that some editor and director relationships are based on decades. Martin Scorsese, right?
It's amazing.
Isn't that great?
It's so rare, but
How
absolutely.
Cool. And she's a female editor, correct?
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
It's fantastic. It's rare, but it's amazing.
So it's not likely.
And they figured it out.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, they made some of the best movies ever. So
it doesn't happen a lot. Usually it's like a new editor.
I think it not to that level where it's been
only
almost 30 years. I don't even know. I mean, it's probably been around there. So
do you ever get sad that our favorite actors and directors of that time, they're getting older? Like Scorsese, Coppola, Robert De Niro, and all those people, all those movies.
But I always believe they still have other movies to make.
No, of course, but
we're all getting older. Trust me. It's crazy.
We're aging like fine wine.
Well, you are. I don't know.
You are too. But I was watching Heat the other day, random, but I'm like,
such a great movie.
What a great movie.
It's such a great movie.
What a bond.
And it still dates so well. It's like, that's a movie you can watch every 3 months.
I wish we had movies like that.
Well, they're making a sequel. So
what do you think about that?
I'm excited about it. It seems like it's going to be great. Yeah, I'm hopeful.
Do you think sequels are always necessary?
No, I do not.
Yeah.
I just, to be honest, but yeah, I understand the rationale, right? If you're a studio and a movie does really well, why not? It's hard to make money. And these studios, they spend lots of money. So I can see the rationale to do it, but do I think every movie needs a sequel? No, just like some movies probably don't need to be remade.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure working in this industry, because you've seen all aspects of it, I think producing is probably your favorite versus the time you were an agent, right? This is
I
a
do
different.
love it. When I was an agent, I really worked closely with the film finance department
Yeah.
too, and that's why my background is a little bit different, you know. So I do love putting the packages together
Yeah.
and fighting hard because it is very rewarding when a movie gets made. And look, if a movie does really well, that's even more amazing,
Yeah.
you know. So it's all hard, you know,
Yeah.
but it is very gratifying.
And I love that you support your Armenian filmmakers in this industry. You're proud of it.
I am. I mean,
You're a
listen,
proud
you
Armenian.
know,
What
I
does
am a
that
very proud
tell me
Armenian.
what that means for you?
You know,
Yeah.
it's just, listen, we're not a big group, right?
Yeah.
We don't have,
So
you know,
small.
we're a small culture, and it's something that's very important to me. And I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm proud, even though my daughter's half Armenian, she's really embraced it.
Mhm.
And she's embraced her Armenian pride and culture. And that means a lot to me, you know,
I
and I
love
want to
that.
help it, you know, our families, because we are such a small community.
Yeah, we are. And I'm sure when you see a YAN or IAN in the
Of
credits, I
course.
think every Armenian like lights up like,
It's
oh
exciting. It's always exciting.
my God. The best feeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So usually I ask every guest two questions, the same two questions before we wrap. It's
Okay.
just something very fun. But before that, what do you want to share with our viewers? Whether it's someone having a hard time in the industry, don't know how to balance, let's say, which career path to take, law school, or any of that. Any wisdom?
I think just, again, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but take a step back. What do you love?
Yeah.
And what are you excited about? And it's okay if you change your mind. I always said to young people, the best experience working at an agency, forget about joining the trainee program, which is what I did because I knew I wanted to be an agent. But if you're an assistant at an agency or a management company, mainly an agency, you're going to have an idea of what you want to do. It's really a great experience because you're going to work for an agent and you're going to hear all the calls, producers, managers. You may say, oh, I want to be an agent. I want to be a producer. Maybe I want to be a manager, or maybe I don't want to do anything in this business.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's okay to change your mind also.
Yeah.
I think too many people worry, especially young people, like, this is what I have to do. I have to do it. No, you can pivot. I pivoted. Everyone pivots. You know what I mean? People change their careers. That's okay. You don't have to have all the answers.
Well, yeah, it's also a multi-hyphenate world, right?
Absolutely.
People have different streams of income. They have different passions. We know several people who are doctors turned filmmakers or vice versa.
Lawyers turned writers.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, John Grisham is one of the most successful novelists, and he's a lawyer. He was a lawyer that decided to write books.
Oh,
So.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
Wow. So maybe his story stemmed from his life as a lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so important. It's the life experience, but again, just go with something that you believe.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing wisdom. I love that, Ara.
Yeah, I try, you know.
Okay, so last two questions of the day. If you had your very own billboard on Sunset Boulevard,
Yes.
what would it say?
My God. What would it say?
Just a message you want people to see driving down.
You know, it sounds cliched as well, but there's a great line in Rocky that Carl Weathers, may he rest in peace, who was also a big ARPA supporter and honoree, there is no tomorrow. And that's what he says when Apollo is training Rocky. And I think that's it. Embrace the moment. We don't have any guarantees in life. So today is the day. I mean, I think that's what I would say.
There is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There's just now in the moment.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. And
I wish I could take credit for it, but
No.
I can't. I can't think of anything else.
But I mean,
Maybe when I come back in a year, I'll think of my more
Yeah.
original billboard that I can come up with.
no, but that's great though. Everyone's saying different things.
Yeah.
I love it. You were talking about Ara Zeta a few minutes ago, and he said it would say a bow.
Well, yes. You know, I love that.
Everyone has like different things, but I
Yeah.
love that. I mean, Rocky, I mean, that's a whole different.
Yeah.
What a. What a collection of films and genre and everything for us to have that in our childhood,
and
right?
I always say, like, watch older movies. Watch some of these. I love to go back and watch older movies.
Really?
Because it's inspiring, You have to remember, especially the older we get, you can get so caught up in the business element of it. Sometimes good to go and watch Heat and remind yourself, God, this is why I'm in the movie business. Like
The
I wanna
Graduate.
make this movie. Yeah.
For me, that was
Exactly.
Oh my God,
those
Graduate.
movies are great. Go watch A Clockwork Orange. It's just, there's so many things that you can do to get re-inspired. And I do.
Well, and watch black and white films.
Of course.
TCM is a great one that we love.
That's all my mom watches.
I know. Sunset Boulevard.
My dad's watching soccer. My mom's watching TCM. So it's like perfect.
But we learn a lot from those black and white
Absolutely.
days. That was the foundation. I feel like even in film school, like that's where you start. Citizen Kane and everyone in film school has to watch
Citizen Kane. Absolutely.
And then what was the other one? Billy Wilder's Sunset Boulevard,
Yeah,
The
another
Apartment.
great
Like,
one.
guys, watch those films.
Yeah, watch Billy Wilder. He's crossed every genre. That's a unique filmmaker.
Yeah. And what have you purchased under $100 that changed your life?
Oh my God. Under $100 that changed my life?
Yeah, it could be even like 20 or 30 bucks, something simple, but just really made your life easier, just really stuck out to you.
That's an interesting question. Maybe a used golf club that helped my golf game. I don't know.
I love that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's good though. Something that you use on the weekends or just when you relax.
I'm sure there's an app that I purchased that's probably helped me out.
An app?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's that era. Everything's on our phone right now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Ara, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And congrats again. I'm very excited for you.
Thank you. This was so amazing. And you have to come back again next year.
Let's do it.
Whenever you're,
Whenever you want. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Louisa Live. Louisa Live.